Peace, 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 AGG Nation. This is AGG, your average gun guy, and we are back for another live episode. Gonna wait for some folks to join us tonight before we jump into our topic. Let me go ahead and paste the link in here. Boom. All right. All right, so there's a link. Go ahead and feel free to jump on in. Tonight's topic we're going to be discussing. We're going to be discussing a lot of topics actually, but one of the topics we're going to be discussing is, do you need a red dot or are your iron sights good enough for you? So we're going to dive into that soon. Let's see if I can get some more people in here with us. Let's give it a minute. All right, let's give it a couple minutes, get some folks in here with us so we can talk about this topic. Is a red dot sufficient, or do you need, or is iron sight sufficient, excuse me, or do you need a red dot? So that's one of the topics we're going to be diving into tonight. Just waiting for some folks to join us here, get some people here in on my live with me, and we will dive right into it. All right, let's see if I can get a couple people in here with us. All right. All right. All right, guys, feel free to join on in. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. You see the link right here. If anybody's in and they want to jump in, be part of the conversation, jump on in. You're more than welcome. Just looking for a few more people here that I can invite. See if I can get them in here on this Tuesday night here. Last week, I started the session and I cut it a little bit short because I didn't think anyone was going to join. Then as soon as I cut it short, I had a bunch of people hit me up like, hey, I'm in, or it looks like the link has ended. So let me be a little bit more patient tonight. Give it just a little bit more time to get some people in here. All right. See if I can get some people in here with us. All right. All right. Let's see. All right. Yeah, I need to get some people in here with me. I'm trying to get some people to join me. I see I got two people or a few people online with us right now, trying to get me a guest here online so we can have us a conversation. So if you got anything that you want to talk about relating to guns, feel free to jump on with me. The link is in the chat. I'm gonna go ahead and post it again. So feel free to jump on in and join in on the conversation. Let me make sure this chat is working properly. Let me pause that. All right, boom. Yep, that link is in there. Link is in the description. Go ahead and join in, guys. Tonight's discussion, we're going to be discussing red dots and iron sights. That's one of the topics. We're going to be discussing a whole lot of different topics, but that's definitely going to be one of the topics. Which one is better? Do you just need iron sights, or do you need a red dot? Or is a red dot like a crutch? Is it crippling you? Is it something that's hindering you from actually progressing as a shooter? So we'd love to have that discussion. Looks like we got some folks joining us now. We'd love to get some people on stage with me here. So go ahead and take a click on that link in the description if you want to come on stage, be part of the conversation. I'll go ahead and post that one more time here. Boom. So yeah, go ahead, jump on in. Jump on in, jump on in. All right. I see that I'm gonna have to make sure that I hit a lot of people up next time a little bit earlier to make sure that they remember and that they're prepared and that they are able to join me here. That's my fault, probably. I should have reached out to people a little bit early just to check in, make sure. All right, all right. Let's get some more folks in here. Let's get some more people in here. The link is in the description. Feel free to join the conversation. Go ahead, click on that link, jump on screen. Boom, my man Drizo right there. He'll be coming in just a minute. Have somebody to talk to. We're gonna keep this show rolling. We go ahead and get a drink of water. Wait for him to get in here with us. Let's see what else we got. Hey, the Bubba, man, join the stage. Let me go ahead and post his comment. This man right here, let me tell you something about Bubba. Never met him one day. He lives out in Florida where my family lives at. A lot of my family lives in Florida. And he goes to a lot of gun shows all over the state of Florida, get some of the best footage out there. And he has graciously allowed me to reshare some of his time at gun shows. So, brother, salute to you. You are definitely free to join this conversation as well. The link is in the note section. Take a look in the notes. Feel free to jump on in and be part of this conversation. We're just having regular old gun talk here. Regular old gun talk, but we are going to have a couple of topics that we will dive into, but it'll be a regular old conversation. All right. How's it going, brother? Hey, how's it going? Looks like there's a little bit of lag on your side. It's okay. It's okay. Give it a minute to catch up.
Yeah, I'm in the woods out here. But I
All right,
wanted to
there
talk
you
to you
go.
about
There
red
you
dots.
go. I can hear you now. Let's talk about it. What's your choice? Do you prefer iron sights or red dot? What's your choice for your handgun? Looks like he's in a bad spot. We lost him. But we'll get some more people on in just a second. Like I say, I got one of my co-hosts here joining in just a quick second. So we're going to keep this party rolling. Man, it's definitely some topics I want to talk about. Definitely some interesting topics I want to talk about. I agree with you there, Desert Tactical. I agree with you as well. Red dot all the way, man. Like, listen, I'm not saying that you should not learn how to shoot with the irons, but having that red dot is definitely a plus. It helps you pick up that target so much quicker. Target acquisition is so much faster. And if you want to have the irons, which I definitely suggest having those backups, so having those suppressor sight, iron sights, some pressure height iron sights on there is definitely a plus. So definitely, I agree. Iron sights. I mean, red dot with the backups. I don't have the suppressor sight heights on suppressor height sights on my EDC just yet, but it's coming. Man, there is a super interesting topic I cannot wait to talk about, but I'm gonna wait before I reveal it. Oh, there's my man Drees right there. Let me get him on stage. Boom. What up?
What's up, ATG? How are you today, brother?
What's happening, man? Good to see you.
You as well, brother. You as well, man. It's pretty heartbroken last week, but we got family, we got responsibilities, so I completely understand.
Indeed. Yeah, I couldn't get on last week, man. Let me tell you what happened. I hurt my back actually on the night that we went on. I hurt my back that night, but it didn't kick in until like the next couple of days. By Monday, brother, I couldn't get out of bed. I was like, oh my goodness, what is going on? And I exercise or work out all the time, so it's not like I'm just out of shape or something, man. It just happens like that sometimes. You got to be careful. So I do say that to people out there when you're training or just moving around, moving heavy stuff around. Be careful, especially as you rise up there in wisdom and in how do they call it? As you fine wine as a fine wine ages, make sure you're taking care of your bodies out there.
Nah, man, go ahead and call it out like it is, the gray beard.
Exactly, man. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? You got to take care of yourself out there, man.
Yeah.
But good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Hope you had a good week as well.
I did. I had a fantastic week. I actually went to the gym today with my oldest son, and I brought my weight belt with me because, deadlifting has been a big thing for my whole life. It's how I believe you should pull the most weight. It's how I believe you should. It's a total body workout, bench, squat, deadlift. You can do it all. And I'm not going to lie, I was kind of nervous today. And, I'm not going to lie, I did a little bit of an ego lift. I had a guy next to me who was pulling 3 plates. And so I decided to pull 4.5 plates and did 441.
Okay.
And I still got it up. So, it's not as good as my ultimate, like what I used to be, but we are definitely feeling good today, brother. So it's good to see you, HG.
Good. So that's good, man. You still out there training. That's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about, guys. No matter what it is you can do, even if you're at home, even if you don't have a gym to go to, and you're just at home, calisthenics, guys. Make sure that you're doing some type of calisthenics, push-ups, sit-ups, jumping jacks, burpees. You gotta stay active. Keep that heart moving. Keep yourself active, and that goes into one of the topics that I want to talk about tonight, man. I've been seeing some news reports about Israel being invaded by a group right out of Palestine. My question is this: what in the hell would you guys do here if something like that similarly happened to us here in America? Are you prepared for that? Are we prepared for that? What is your take on that?
It's interesting you talk about that because I talked to one of my buddies who's a truck driver out of Michigan. I talked to you about him the other week, and we talked about our fundamentals if that kind of stuff happens, because we're obviously preparing for the worst. I believe in biblical times. Other people may not, but time and time again, it's been proven true. But so I think the biggest thing that a lot of preppers oversee is, they automatically go into how many guns you have, how many bullets you have, how much reservoir of ammunition do you have. And for most people, all right, like yourself and me, that's not a question. All right. We train, we shoot accurately. We're not dumping 30 round mags at a time, right? We're popping 1, 2, 3. All right. I've been trained in Mozambique drills. I'm sure you have as well, being in the military. Mozambique drill is 2 to the head, 1 to the chest. All right. You're not dumping 30 rounds, closing your eyes and just praying that you just, spray everybody, right? My biggest thing is preparing for food, gasoline, and an ability to be mobile. We both have, 6 children, and, mine are obviously a little younger. And so, excuse me, we have a Chevy Express van, one of them good old church vans, but it's a big boy V8, all metal, right? I got my single cab truck, which is, pure metal. The ability to grab what you need and move locations, I believe, is one of the most things that a lot of people overlook, because you can hold up in a house all day long. And at some point, if you live near a major city or you are in a major metropolitan area, it's going to get overrun, and you want to get as far as you can out. Again, my heart goes out to Israel. Again, I'm a very biblical man. I believe we should, pray and protect for Israel. I'm one of those people that I could care less about Ukraine. I know what kind of people they are. It's your show though, so I'm gonna get into that. But
It's all good. We speak freely on this channel.
yeah, absolutely. But Israel is talked about in biblical times that you are supposed to pray and ask for protection for them, and so that's what I do. Whether or not they've done some crappy stuff in the past, they did to Jesus. But either way, this does show a sign in the times, whether or not you believe biblically or not, that something is happening, and something is going to happen. You have 4 different countries, quote unquote, that are in a battle with each other over the past 6 months, and so we have to prepare for that time. So I personally believe that you should have a battle rifle. Your handgun is, it's always been trained to me, your handgun is to be able to get to your rifle. Have shotguns. We'll always carry shotguns, but aside from the fighting aspect, it's the survival mode. It's do you have food? Do you have communication? Do you have people around you that you can count on, that you can trust? Okay. Do you have a water supply? Those are the kind of things that we do need to ultimately prepare for, because whether you agree with it or not, the dollar doesn't have any value. It hasn't had any value since the last gold standard under golly, I can't remember his name, in the 80s. But we don't.
It's been a while. It's been a long time since it's had any type of value. They've definitely emptied out our reserves for sure.
Absolutely. So our value is held on the standard of, okay, the government accepts this as your payment for taxes. That's essentially what our currency has a value on.
Yeah, man, brother, everything you're saying makes a lot of sense, and it even makes me think a little bit deeper, even with some of the topics you're saying, because that's the point of communicating and getting out here learning and training, is that you don't know everything. You can think that you're prepared and you think you got it, and you're like, oh damn, that one little thing, which is huge or important, could be the factor between your life and death, or your family's life and death. So man, that's a lot of good points you're bringing up. Desert Tactical asks a question. He says, for battle rifle, to what range yards do you set that rifle up?
So me personally, I'm not one of those people that wants to reach out and touch you. So I have my PSA. It's a 10.1 inch. I've got a dual clip, double 30 round mag on it. I carry on my plate carrier, which is, I personally recommend Spartan. Spartan,
good company. I got a Spartan plate carrier also. Great company.
They're amazing. The local PD where my restaurant bar's at, they use Aimpoint, but when you're ordering 200 plate carriers, you get a hefty discount. All right. So for the ever budget friendly person that has a family, Spartan Body Armor to me does everything. I can order my mag carriers, my pouches, my tourniquets. Believe it or not, as much as someone's going to get mad at me for this, I order them off Temu, off China. They still wove into the slips. They do what they're supposed to do, and that's how I carry. I do believe that you should have a plate carrier, but as far as a battle rifle setup, it's a PSA 10.1 inch. I have a dual clip. I carry 4 magazines on me. I have 4 magazines off of me, so I have 10 magazines total with one in the chamber. I carry a veteran-owned red dot that touches to about 65, 70 yards.
Okay.
I have 45-degree offset iron sights, so if it dies, it dies. And I also have a laser which is zeroed in at bore, so I have 3 points of contact if and when something does happen. I run.
Is that a true laser, or is that like a night vision laser?
No, it's a true laser. So I run a true laser flashlight on mine.
Okay.
I got it for like $60 off of $100. Again, my rifle is my budget rifle. I know for a fact it holds true to zero at 60 yards. To be honest with you, 100 yards is what you should aim at. But anything within 60 yards, personally, my Glock is true to zero. My Canik is true to zero on its red dot. I can hit at that. You know, your battle rifle is something where you have to go at multiple targets at multiple times, multiple angles. If they're any closer than 60 yards, a handgun or a shotgun, honestly, to me, is going to be viable for those situations.
Indeed, indeed. Yeah, one of the a gentleman mentioned that earlier. He says that you're going to need. Hold on. Yeah, he says right here you should have a good pistol, a good rifle, and a shotgun, you know, on your back. So he agrees with you as well. You know, those are definitely some, you know, 3 solid, you know, weapons that you need with you in tough times, for sure. And like he's saying, practice as much as you can possibly afford. That's another good point. Another good point.
But I will throw another thing in there that most people don't think about in modern day society. You know, this kind of goes more into the lines of prohibited people, restricted people, or you know, communist states like California and New York. This right here, I want to let everybody know when I'm showing this on live, before I show, this is not a firearm according to the ATF, the federal government, or the state of Texas. This is not a firearm. I am not showing anything that violates YouTube policy. Okay, so this right here is an 1860 44. Okay, this is a 44 caliber black powder pistol. Okay, this fires a 44 caliber, a 4.54 lead ball, or a 255 grain lead conical bullet. These right here, the reason why I recommend everybody get one of these is because everything from the percussion caps to the bullets, the wax, and to the cleaning, you can make from modern things that you see throughout the day. So when ammunition runs low or ammunition runs out, every Coke can, every seltzer bottle, every anything that you come across can make every percussion cap for this. Lead is around us all the time. You can make ammunition for it. And then for the wax, you have lamb's tallow, you have tree sap, you have even what's it called? I'm sorry. Baking soda and olive oil can make a sealant to seal these cylinders if you and when you need to carry them. I personally recommend these things to people because not only that, but they're also not firearms. They're not restricted by the government or the ATF. No matter what you've done, the greatest part about them is they're untraceable.
That's nice.
Yeah. So
that's nice. Man, everything you're saying are things that are important in a crisis type of scenario, because what a lot of people are failing to understand is that if we find ourselves in that type of scenario, any type of dollars that you think you have to go to the store or buy ammunition, you know how highly elevated that the cost of ammunition is going to be at that time, and how hard it's going to be to even convince anyone that your paper dollars are worth anything at that point. At that point, people are going to be bartering. They're going to be ammunition is going to be the currency of the time. Ammunition, food, seeds, cattle, you know, livestock, the things that are real, not things that are a dollar is. We've all bought into the idea that the dollar is what it is. So in times of crisis, not many people are using paper dollars to do much but start fires to stay warm at night.
You're absolutely correct. And it's one of those old sayings and true from every great philosopher. Like I said, my background's in behavioral psychology, and I study extensively. I look at men who are infinitely smarter than me, infinitely look outside of the box, and the same thing happens every single generation. Is every time man is involved in civilization, that civilization will in fact fall.
Indeed. Facts. Good question here. Desert Tactical asks, he says, what about bug out bags? What do you have in it? What's in your bug out bag?
So bug out bags. So I have different options. Like I said, we have a 2014 Chevy Express van. Okay, it seats 14 people.
Woo,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I got
man. One vehicle. That's it, man. That's all you need is one vehicle. Yeah, we've got a 2 vehicle, plan. But yeah, man. That's awesome.
ultimately we have a 3 vehicle plan.
Mhm.
Best environment possible. Practicality for a plan B, which is the ultimate plan. Frogman Tactical. He's a ex Navy SEAL. He does this great. But I have a 2010 F-150. It's all metal. It is a single cab, but it is fast. It is fast and it's hard. And the truck bed is full. Okay, so as far as bug out bags, so I have one bug out bag of a military ammunition supply. So that carries enough ammunition to get us through 1 year. Okay. Small bag, it's not as big as most people think it is. Okay. So if you're carrying all of your plate carriers, I have a plate carrier for my wife, I have a plate carrier for myself. We both have AR mags and pistol mags. We also have trauma bags on the back of them as well, which is where they should be at all times. And tourniquets. Okay, 3 to 4 tourniquets. That's beside the point. But we have those bags. We also have a like a black tub full of the rest of the ammunition. That thing can be lifted by 2 people, thrown into the back. Right. Okay. I have a MRE of 24 case MRE, and I have 120 serving case that is less than 5 pounds. Okay, those are immediate throwaways. And then you have a 48 case of water bottles. Those are kind of the bare essentials that you should keep and carry for a family, obviously of your size or my size, to go and do. There's obviously going to be guns I leave behind. I won't tell you which ones they are, but I will tell you that we get in 2 vehicles is ultimate plan B. Gracious, plan A with 3 vehicles. My son turns 15 and he knows how to drive. Would be the out because we carry more gas that way. You can siphon gas, a single garden hose. I mean, you can go into all the extremes. I mean, we can spend all day on plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way to Z. And the ultimate plan is to from the Marine standpoint is adapt and overcome. You can plan for the best, expect the worst, and at the end of the day, you adapt and overcome. But you should have your pistol. Okay, you should have your pistol with 4-round backup. You should have your bug out bag with your ammo, your rifle with a minimum of 4 magazines on you, 1 in the chamber. That's why I have a double clip so I can carry 5. Okay. And your food supply and your water. That's the ultimate bug out for me to be able to move and where I need to go.
Nice, man. That is a nice setup, and again, that brings me to the point. You think you got it all figured out, and then you start listening, like, man, maybe my food supply isn't as up to par as I thought it was, or man, maybe I need to get a couple extra carrier plates. All these things start coming through your minds. So that's what I'm saying, guys. These are great conversations. That's why we do this, so we can learn, we can share best practices. And figure out what are the best measures to take to protect and defend our families. So I don't have a bug out bag, a good bug out bag, should I say, ready to rock and roll. I've got multiple smaller bug out bag scenarios set up, should I say. And one of those I keep in my truck because I'm driving at all times, and the other one I keep here at home right by my bed. So they're not as intense, as they should be. And when I say intense, I don't have all the food supplies that I need in there. That's for sure. I've got a water filtration system in there, all kind of, basic stuff like that, fire starters, med kits. But I definitely need to up my MRE supply for sure. That's for sure.
No, absolutely. You should. And MREs are on the rise right now. Good luck finding Chili Mac for less than 30 for one.
Good old Chili Mac.
It's good, man. I love it.
Indeed.
But to be honest with you, they have the freeze dried right now on midwayusa.com. It's a 120 serving container. It weighs less than 5 pounds. Right now they have it on sale for $100 off of $250. I personally recommend anybody go grab at least one or two of those. If you have a family my size, you need to do a little more, but those are definitely some viable options for yourself. And as a matter of fact, me and my buddy David were joking around. He has a semi, so he's an owner operator in Michigan, and he said, first thing that's going to happen, Jeff, is I'm going to grab all of my stuff in my semi with my wife and my dog and my oldest son, and we're going to drive down to you. And he said, tell HG, he's a straight line from Georgia to Texas.
Indeed.
We're good.
Indeed. Yeah, man. Trust me, brother. Like, these things sound like they're all jokes and fun and stuff, but really in reality, these are life-saving topics. These are things that you really got to consider with the day and time that we're in. And we're not fear-mongering for sure. I'm not fear-mongering. I know my man here is not fear-mongering. I mean, we're out here living life, enjoying life to the best of our ability, but we are 100% aware of what's going on in the world. We're 100% aware of tyrannical government's ability to unleash its fury on the people at any time, and a people who are unprepared, or people who are in delusion or weakened, softened, confused on sexuality, all kind of different things like that. It makes you a much easier target. And listen, I'm not here to bash anybody out there. I'm just telling you what it is. I'm just telling you what it is. And you tell me whenever we've seen a society in the predicament that our society is currently in, and they thrive. We've got to make sure that we do something about what's going on, or be aware on what's going on, so we know how to prepare for it. And that's really all we can do. So with that being said, I got a quick question for you. Or this brother here made a comment. He says, train your family, that will save you 100%. So let me ask you this. We talked about having red dots and iron sights. I really didn't get your take on it too heavy. Like, what do you ultimately think one needs, the red dot or the iron sight? And this is for pistol or for rifle. Do you think a red dot is necessary?
I think a red dot is necessary if you train with it. Red dot accusation, on a target is a lot different than iron sights. You're looking at a 1 post, 2 post. You find your 1 post and you line it up with your 2 posts, and that's how you shoot, right? Okay, with a red dot, it's literally drawing up and finding the dot. Okay, so both have a purpose, more or less. Okay, so I have a 1x scope on my AR-15, my PSA, but like I said, I have a canted 45-degree angle iron sight that's fiber optic that I know work 100% of the time without a battery.
Nice.
Laser, which I do not turn on, I know will last for 5 years. That is 0 to bore. It's not 0 to fire, but it is 0 to bore. So I'm at least within a 3 MOA. So when it comes to your rifle should be your last resort. You should carry batteries. I do have 2 battery backup, which would last me a total of somewhere between 6 and 10 years. Okay. But your iron sights should be your main point of contact. I think a lot of people misunderstand when they fire a handgun. And again, you come from military. I'm not telling you anything new, but for me, I'm left-handed. So my right index finger is pointed on my groove and I'm pointed towards. Okay. My right thumb is pointed towards my target. Anybody that's been in any kind of intense situation or an intense shooting scenario knows that you're not going to be able to draw up and point and go, all right, 1 zone, 2 zone, let me meet in the Y and fire. You're literally drawing. Okay, if you're drawing from waistband, you're already firing from right here. You've had 3 shots by the time you extend. So your iron sights and your red dot, to be honest with you, is not going to be your first line of defense. That is going to be your aiming target when you're from a defensive situation, when you're inside of a CQB on the defensive side. On an offensive side, whether you're in CQB, whether you're in open range, whether you're down range, whether anything's going on, that's going to be where your training comes into point. You have your guys who, there's a few places in the country where you can shoot at a mile, correct? All right.
Indeed.
We're not going to be shooting at a mile.
Exactly.
FH, whatever comes about, right? We're going to be shooting within realistically 25 yards. Your 25-yard zone should be on your best 3. Okay. Me personally, in my opinion, you should be able to shoot a 6 MOA from draw here, 1, 2, 3. That's my opinion.
Hey, that makes a lot of sense. And a lot of people fail to consider what you just said. What you just said, I think is super, super important. And it should be considered in most situations. In a self-defense situation, even, you are not, it's not TV, it's not the target range, it's not the gun range, it's not going to be, hey, the villain's over there, let me get my cover and punch out. It's not going to be like Drizzo just said, man. Boom, you're going to be pulling, shooting soon as you're shooting on your way up to a real aim, and your aim is really just the aim of that pistol at that time. It's not, you're not probably looking through any sights or anything for a few shots, at least, especially in a high tense situation, high adrenaline. Someone's up close. The ability to do that is just not there. So I think what you just said is huge, and a lot of people miss that.
No, they do, absolutely. Which is why most days. So, and I'll teach some people out there. I have no shame in my game. When I am driving my vehicle, I carry my 1860 44 on my waistband. I do have a 2A for life gun magnet where I will carry it sometimes, but when I'm in my vehicle, I have my 44 on me. It's a single action. I have to draw the camera every time. You can look at my channel and see how fast I can flick a percussion cap and get back on target. It's almost as fast as somebody with a Glock 17 with the heavy weight of a barrel being able to pull back down. It's pretty quick. So I'm not ashamed of my game of running a single action in my day-to-day life, right? But when I'm at my job or I'm out with my kids, I've got my Glock on me. I have my I sometimes I carry my Smith & Wesson 38 airweight if I'm just running out real quick, right? But to me, my Glock 30, which is a 45 ACP, my everyday carry, which is even on my days where I'm running security for my kids at our co-op. My Canik has a red dot. The trigger's phenomenal. It's way better than my Glock trigger. It fires faster and more accurate. However, I am better with my Glock. I am better with my Glock 45 on coming up. I can put more rounds on target. Yes, I only have 10 rounds in the magazine, and then I have 2-round backup. Now, I've ordered some 13 rounds for the Glock 21, which I can carry in my plate carrier. But to me, it's I don't care what anybody says. You run what you are most accurate with each and every day. You train with your other firearms. So if and when that time comes, you can pull those and pull them effectively. But my buddy, who is a teacher in Houston at a charter school, he's got a Marine who's a level 4A that carries with him. He carries a Byrna. He's got extensive firearm training as well. And he'll tell you the same thing. You carry what you are best with. My Glock is heavier. It's bigger than my Canik. It's bigger than my 1860 44, believe it or not. But I carry that when there is more seriousness on the line, because I know for a fact that I will hit, and I will hit accurately with it. You take all of your other guns and you use them as backups, but you still train with them so that you can hit if and when it comes down to a time where, say, I run out of 45, all I've got left is 9 mil. Say I run out of 9 in 2-3 years, all I have left is 38 special. I've got 100 rounds of 38 special. Guess what? I better be able to hit at 60 yards with that 2-inch barrel.
Man, break it down. I like that. I like that. And that you brought up another topic that I'm going to go into in just a quick second here about triggers. But before I do, this gentleman made a comment. He says, "Don't be scared. Be ready. Have land far away with game and water. Teach your young how to hunt and fish and farm." Man, that is super important. Super important. Right now, we are doing urban farming right now. Even though I live in a suburban community, we're farming in our backyard right now, and it's right at the end of the season for us for some of the crops that we're growing. But we've been growing crops all summer. Even took a stab at growing watermelons this season. So I've got a couple of them growing. I'm pretty proud of myself, man. So you definitely need to have a green thumb. And what this gentleman said, knowing how to fish, knowing how to clean a fish, knowing how to hunt, even, and skinning a squirrel, like catching all these things may seem like they don't matter, but man, when your life is on the line, knowing how to do it properly, it'd be the difference again between giving your family tainted meat or bad meat or meat that's going to get people sick versus not giving them bad meat. So I don't even know how to do all these things. I just know it's super important. And what this gentleman said is I agree 100%. So I didn't want to miss out on that comment.
No, you absolutely should. You should know how to fish. Mike's life, he's actually like probably 100 away from 100K right now. I'm super proud of that man. But simple fishing wire and a paper clip in order to how to make a fishing line essentially and be able to pull fish in. You should know how to do all these things and take the liver out, take the intestines out, and use that as fillets. One of the things my grandfather taught me is dove and pigeon are essentially the same thing. And shotguns, we have several of them. We have several. I have so much 20 gauge. It's ridiculous. I have one 20 gauge rifle. But that gun would be used to hunt. It wouldn't be used for defensive use. It would be used solely to hunt with. With birdshot, you can take down pigeons, you can take down squirrels, you can take down doves. Trust me when I tell you this. All right, the 15 max you can have for doves in Oklahoma or Texas will feed you and another 6 people for a good 5 or 6 days. The meat that comes off of those breasts is phenomenal. So I do agree with this gentleman is you should learn how to hunt, because that will be something when your preparation comes to an end. And it's again, Semper Fi is adapt, overcome, and always be faithful.
That's it, man. Man, I love that. I love it. That's it, man. You got to figure it out. When it's time to get it figured out, either you figure it out or you succumb. And we don't succumb around here, so we figure it out. My man says, love Glocks, but the triggers suck. All right. I don't disagree. I don't disagree at all. However, I will say this. My Gen 5 Glock 19 trigger, even though it's the stock trigger that's in there, it works for me. I don't know how to explain it or because I hear a lot of people say, well, the Gen 5s are a little bit better than the previous generations. They're not as sluggish as like Gen 3 or 4, but I don't have many complaints on my Glock trigger. But that was going to be my question. Are you a believer in having a aftermarket Glock trigger in your EDC?
No, I'm absolutely not.
Me either. I'm a firm believer in keeping the internals like stock.
I don't hate the man for this. Okay, so most people, okay, when they've started out with something, whether it's a SIG, whether it's a Smith & Wesson, whether it's a Canic, whether it's a TISA, whether it's an H&K, whether it's anything, right? When you go to a Glock trigger, okay, and I just explained this to my boys last night. We went over this tutorial in my Glock versus my Canic, right? And I said, feel the trigger, feel the mush, okay? So in a Glock, you have a take up, you have a mush, and then you have a break, okay? My Canic, it is a take up, wall, break, okay? It's phenomenal, okay? The trigger is absolutely phenomenal. It's night and day difference. But when you have a duty gun, okay, when you have a purpose gun for self-defense against non-animals, we'll put it like that, you want a mush take-up, because there's going to be times, believe it or not, where you go to draw and you pull and you feel mush and you realize this is not a target. You can look at several videos of SEAL Team 6s, Army Special Forces, and anybody alike, where they've drawn on somebody and it's an unarmed individual, and that mush has stopped them from taking that life. Again, I'm one of these people right now. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a Christian first. All right, I'm a man of God first. Okay, even before my wife and before my children, I do not want to take a life. I do not want to have to do that. But if and when that time comes and there is an initial threat in front of me, trust me, I have no problem hitting that mush and breaking the wall.
Breaking that wall. Indeed.
But there are times where a heavier trigger, whether it's a mush or a longer trigger pull, like on my double actions, right? Where that can initially save you an extra person that is not an actual threat. And in time of martial law, World War III, whatever we're talking about, an extra person, yeah, people think of, oh, that's one more person to feed. That's one more man on your side. Because there's one thing, it's a book called the 48 Laws of Power. And it's an amazing book. You should be fundamentally grounded before you
I've got it sitting right here.
Exactly. You should be fundamentally grounded before you read the book. It should not be used in evil in any way. But I can tell you then right now, an enemy turned friend is more reliable than a brother. And I stand by that.
Man, that's deep. That is deep, man. This gentleman here says you should learn every gun you can. You might have to grab something random on the go. Couldn't agree with that more. He also says, I trap in Alaska and was a fisherman since I could walk. Fun thing to learn. Fun thing to learn. In the woods, shotgun is your best friend. It catches squirrels or bear. Good point. Good point. What type of I'm not a big shotgun guy, so I'm not sure on all the ammo loads. What's a good load? What's the difference if I'm shooting squirrel or if I'm shooting bear? Or shooting, let's say it like a wolf, even.
Yeah. So for me personally, there's 3 different loads. There's several more than that. But you have your 12 gauge, your 16 gauge, and your 20 gauge. All right. I know they have a 26 gauge and some other stuff and different variants, right? Your 12 gauge should be primarily for your defense. All right. My wife has a Remington 870, which is a tack shotgun. It has a door breach on the front of it. And it is a through and through self-defense shotgun. It is loaded with 12 gauge. It is loaded with a Vachette round in the chamber, which is nails followed by birdshot.
Okay.
Has 3 slugs followed by buckshot, 2 buckshot. This is an ultimate defense setup, in my opinion, for self-defense. Now, I have a double barrel original Wells Fargo 16 gauge side by side. This is a great bird gun. This can be used as a self-defense gun, but more or less it is a last resort shotgun. And then you have a 20 gauge. I have a 20 gauge semi-auto. The gas block is a little iffy right now with the ammo I have. It is mainly a bird gun, small game gun, rabbits, squirrels, all that stuff. But what most people don't realize is you learn from history. And if you study history in any way, it's one of the most beautiful things ever, because history repeats itself. Well, history also teaches you lessons time in and time out. So if you take birdshot from a 12 gauge, right, and you cut it around the center of the shell, it actually fires and dispenses at once and hits like a slug. So now you have a defensive round when shot is going to, piss somebody off at 25 yards. Okay. And then you have your 16 gauges, right, which I mostly have number 8 shot or number 7 shot for, right? If you open up the top of it and you pour hot wax into it and then seal it back, you now have an essential slug with your 8 shot or your 7 shot. You have to get creative, even with your full metal jackets, right? If you have a Dremel, you can Dremel into the top of them and then make an X with them. And you essentially have a hollow point.
And now you got your hollow point. Wow. That's creative.
Yeah.
Creative, man. I've got a shotgun. I've got one shotgun, and you've seen it on the channel, JTS AK shotgun. It's not a pump action shotgun. It is mag loaded or mag fed, and that's my only shotgun. I've only shot it a few times, and like I say, I'm not too big on shotguns. Not that I'm against them or anything. I just hadn't been big on shotguns growing up, so that just wasn't my really cup of tea. I was more of a rifle guy.
No, I understand. No, absolutely. And most people aren't acquainted to it. They either go towards a rifle or they go towards a shotgun. Shotguns have a valid purpose. I believe everybody should have a shotgun in their arsenal. They even have the Tarkarov shotguns, which are bullpup shotguns, which are magazine fed right now online. I believe at Midway USA, like $230. They have 5-round magazines and 10 round things. Those things feed off the block beautifully. I'm not
pump action.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of I believe a pump action is your best way to go because there's minimal mechanical error involved with them. And I actually have a one of mine, which would be in use and I would take with me, is I have a Browning 1935 12 gauge. It is literally a trench gun. It is a trench shotgun. Every time we fire it, you know, it's beautiful. I got like 2 videos on the channel of it because I don't want to fire it unless I really have to. The sound of it is amazing. It will cycle every bit of ammo through it. But a shotgun is true and good for if and when you have to leave a situation to get somewhere, and be able to have the most stopping power in the close quarters that you are. I believe my 223, I know it'll fire every time. I have 55 grain. I have 76 grain. I have, you know, the green tips everybody's raging about, which I actually don't believe do much. And I have full metal jacket. And, you know, that gun will get me through anything that I need to. But that shotgun, when you're within 12 to 15 feet, not yards, feet, that thing will do more damage to anybody than you know. Whether you're carrying a plate carrier like me, I carry a Spartan. It's called a Hydra XL plate carrier. I carry level 8 plates. It will stop 2 rounds of a 30-06 to each plate, which is more than most gangbanger or anybody's ever.
Indeed.
And my wife carries and believe it or not, I'm going to tell everybody right now, this is a secret right now. You can go on Temu right now, and for $135, you can get a basic plate carrier with a med kit pack on the back and get 2 strike face plates that say they're level 3A. They're not, but they are 44 Magnum and below plates. They're
okay.
Great. And I know for a fact that that will do the trick if you're in a budget area where you need to have more than one. You know, these things will stop, you know, buckshot and birdshot.
Now, you said that was Strike Force?
Strike face is what the plates
Strike face. Okay, man. That's not a bad deal. Like you say, man, especially people that are on a budget that feel like, man, I can't afford the plate carrier and all, you know, a $500-600 like pack. That's definitely a good option for them, for sure.
Oh, what happened?
All right. Looks like we lost my man here. I'm sure he'll jump right back on in just a quick second here. Let me post a link for him. Make that easy. Boom. There we go. It's a great conversation, man. Great topics, man. Love everything we're talking about, man. These are topics that a lot of us should be having, you know, a lot more than we shouldn't be having them, because it's just to prepare us, to get us ready for unforeseen situations. And you know, that's what this is all about, you know, staying ready so that you don't have to get ready. All right, let's see here. Indeed. Yeah, man. The reason why I brought that topic up is because, like I was saying, I was watching the news a little bit earlier, and I seen a clip of like a Red Dawn type of situation, man. It was people dropping in, like like paratroopers. Like I say, it looked like a Red Dawn situation. That's all I could think of was Wolverines. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, is that how we are gonna, you know, how are we gonna respond here? I think it'll be a much tougher job to you know, infiltrate America in that way. There's a lot more people who I think are armed here or militarily capable to an extent, at least. But I can promise you this: what people are not prepared for is violence, high levels of violence. And I just heard that, like, one of these groups, literally, they built a whole city to mimic one of the cities out in Israel. They trained in that city on how to infiltrate, how to take over certain like police stations or hospitals, or who to exact a lot of violence on first, so that it would make the other kind of people in the community fall in line. All of these things are being, you know, orchestrated and done against, you know, against people, right? So here in America, reason why I brought that up is here in America, our borders, and my man's right there in Texas, so he knows this well, probably better than anybody. our borders are being infiltrated.
Yep.
Millions of people have crossed our borders since our borders have been basically let open, right? They caught last year, they said they caught, I think it was like 150, I don't want to say the wrong number, but about 150 known terrorists. They caught them trying to cross the border. 150. So how many people of military age are crossing the borders? Have you guys paid attention to some of the videos when they were showing at the borders of Arizona, Texas, California? Most of the people, I would say 90% of the people that were out there were men, young men.
Yep.
And yeah, there were families too, but if you weren't paying attention, it was 90% men. And it was odd. It was very odd but who knows? I could be looking into it way too deep, but hey, just my thoughts on it.
No, it's not just your thoughts. I just hired a kid 2 weeks ago from Venezuela. He's 33 years old. He was actually in the Venezuelan army. He came over here fleeing the country, and he's one of those people who's actually working on getting his green card. He got his access and his portal. I only hire people that are actually working on doing it the right way. But I can tell you this right now, having 3 daughters, my heightened level of what's going on around me has increased. I've gone back to my old ways, and you may know this too. I mean, you obviously do. You count every time you go in somewhere. You count the exits.
100%.
Sit with your face towards the main entrance
every time,
and you assess what's going on around you. You have to. Dallas is the first point of entry where most people go to when they cross the border.
Mm-hmm.
It's the hub to where planes go out to everywhere, buses go out to everywhere. Yep. We're in the heart of it, and I've seen an uptick in violence, and not even just border crossing, but depravity, if you will. Perfect example. Me and my oldest son, we went to the gym today, and I brought my middle daughter, and she goes to daycare, and me and him go work out, and we get it. We get after it, right? Everything's good, and we go back into the locker room, and I have shoes that I only wear at the gym. Atomics, shout out. But we go in there, and there's a man who is what's the proper terminology so I don't piss everybody off. He is a homosexual and prefers men. Okay. And he is in one of the stalls on all fours. With the door closed, obviously, and dry humping. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if anybody's behind him.
Right.
My 13-year-old son is with me.
Right.
And I look at that, and I literally go, I'm not going to say what I said, but a trainer walks, and I go, "Hey, bro, what is that?" He goes, "I don't even want to know." All right, bro. Well, if you don't want to deal with it, man, then I'm going to deal with it. All right. So I leave. I go to the manager, and I go, "Hey, man, there's some dude doing some like weird shit in here. You need to take care of this because I'm not going to come back. All right. You're just going to lose my business. I don't know what he's doing in there, but that's not appropriate. I don't care what you are. Whatever you want to be, do that in your own bedroom. All right.
Absolutely.
That's respect for everybody. You don't see me humping my wife in the law.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Like, I don't care what you do or what you are. Like, my beliefs are my beliefs. What God says is what God says. But regardless of it, if you're going to choose to do that crap, like even when I was in my worst, all right, we did it behind locked doors. All right. We didn't do that stuff out in the open, whether it was drugs, whether it was that kind of actions, whether it was anything. Right. And the manager, believe it or not, came to me and goes, "I'm going to take care of this right now. Don't even worry about it. You go on. I'm going to take care of it." And I respected him for that, but that kind of stuff never happens. Last someone came behind my bar while I was not there and got in one of my female bartenders' faces. I know for a fact that God allowed me to leave that night because I would have shot him. You're not going to get in a female's face. I don't care who you are. I know the kind of stuff I used to do in my past, but my morality stand firm today. Indeed. You're I don't care what kind of man you are, how big you are, how small you are. you're definitely not going to get in a female's face. You're definitely not going to walk behind my property because, as you know, in Texas, we have castle doctrine. We not only have castle doctrine, we have property doctrine. It's at night. You're in my establishment and you're behind my property. I have legality to use lethal force.
Absolutely.
That man should be thanking, God every single day that I wasn't there, because he would have got 12 to the chest without question.
And I'm glad that you brought that up, man, that you weren't glad that you weren't there, because, what if you, not saying what if you were there, but let's just say you were in a situation where you find yourself, out with your family, like you say, you're out with your son, and, you walk into your car, some crazy drunk guy comes up to you, hey, I need a ride home. Can you give me a ride? Or something crazy, and they're just being hyperly aggressive. Could be a big dude, you know what I'm saying? Could be a guy that's bigger than yourself, let's say, right? Guy bigger than yourself, he's intoxicated or on something, and he's just being pushy. What do you do in certain situations? Then, because let's say you say, hey, brother, I wish you the best, hope you get home safe, but I can't get you into my car. I'm headed other direction. What, man, the hell with you, man. Blah, blah, blah. You bash it on your car or something. Situations they don't happen how we plan them to happen. So I say that to say, if you carry a gun out there, are you truly prepared to take action? What's up, my man? OG $2. See him just hopped in. What's up, brother? Are you prepared to take action and take a life if your life is actually on the line? Are you prepared for that?
You should be. You actually should be, but I believe you should be trained in, just like you in the military. I have several thousands of hours of CQB training of law, and the first thing that I've been taught is to draw down. Okay, so in a situation where drugs are involved, someone is either heavily intoxicated or on drugs, you can actually just present. Okay. Most people say, oh, it's brandishing of a firearm. Okay. If some cokehead is going to call the police and be like, hey, man, I was just over here doing a couple lines of an 8-ball and this dude drawed a gun on me, what are the cops going to say? Oh, do you still have the drugs on you? Oh, yeah, I do, but he drew a gun on me. Like, who's going to go to jail? All right. We can think of those practicality situations, right? But, when anything is involved in an illegal activity, drawing down on somebody instead of at them is always the best course of action, because 95% of the time, we even see the statistics from the FBI, no shots ever fired. You simply draw, it's over. All right. Most guys think they're big and macho and this, that, and the other, and want to be Billy Badass, more or less. But the second you draw a 44 or a 9 or even a 380 on them, that tail tucks behind them real quick and they're gone. And I think you should know how a situation escalates on your side and on the offender side. Okay, we're never a victim here. All right, a lot of gun tubers out there say that you should call the police and be the victim. I disagree with that. I'm never going to be a victim. I am not a victim. I am an overcomer. I'm an achiever. I am a man, and I will put my life on the line. And if I have to draw down on somebody and they don't die, that's a blessing on their life. That's a blessing on mine. We go about our ways. So.
That's a good point. I was going to ask you about that. Shout out to Whiteside Tactical as well. They're in the building as well. OG $2. Shout out. But let me ask you this here. I hear this phrase a lot that says, don't don't pull it out if you're not ready to shoot. So your thoughts are different than that.
Absolutely, they are, and I'll tell you this right now.
Too many choices. What's up?
Most of the special forces and most of your CQB trainers who are honest will tell you differently. Again, we're on the side of victory, right? We're on the side of Christ. I don't want to take a life. I don't. There's no question about it. I do not want to take a life. The 10 commandments people go on about is thou shalt not murder. It's not what it says. There's 3 different types of words in the Old Testament, in the Greek and the Roman, which implement death. And in that scripture, in that commandment, it says thou shalt not kill. Okay, that's not true. It says, "Thou shalt not murder." The justified killing of a self-defense is actually incorporated into the Levitical law. It says to protect your home, to protect your wife, to rise up quickly and kill them before they kill you. That being said, I believe brandishing something in the middle of a situation to de-escalate the situation, if it gets to that point. Keep in mind, I have a less lethal on me. I have a knife on me. And actually, we're looking at getting the Byrna OC gas pepper spray on me. But I have 3 options to go to before lethal force has to be drawn. If I can show in a court of law that I went to less lethal or even a knife before I said, you know what, you're really trying to kill me, end of the day comes, my conscience is clean. And no court will convict me of that because, like it or not, whatever you believe, court of law has to answer to God. All right. They've been put in those positions of power because of him and nothing less. I've seen that in my life several times. And that's just how it is. So I do believe personally that you're in a situation in a dark alley or in a dark parking lot, brandishing stops you from death and even the attacker from death is in fact an essential thing, and you both can walk away from that changed.
It sounds. I hear you. I hear you. And I tell you, man, that's a tough one, man. That's really a tough one because for me, it's a tough one, and I think like again, each scenario or situation would depend, but I'm very hesitant to pull out without the next thing that's going to happen is some shots are going to be fired. And the reason why I say that is because that brandishing at that moment, I feel potentially could escalate things where if I wasn't ready for them to escalate, now for surely this person is saying, you just pulled a gun on me. Now what if they're armed? Now it gives me the opportunity, if I haven't taken action, to pull. And you say, well, once they start reaching, then you shoot. Yes, but now you got to say, now when you do think about conscience, all that kind of starts rewinding. Man, like what if I wouldn't have pulled it out? Like maybe he wouldn't have. So like you say, we don't want to take lives unless it's necessary. So I don't have the right answer. That's 100%. I don't have any I don't have the right answer to that. But I know for sure that it's never happens the way that we train for it and we rehearse it in our mind. These scenarios, they are spur of the moment. They come out of nowhere and they just happen.
No, absolutely. You're absolutely correct. That's why I have been trained and I continue to train at low ready. I don't train at high ready. I don't train at unless I have a shotgun. Okay, this is one exception. At a shotgun, you present up and corner. Okay? But anything else, whether it's a rifle or a pistol, you never present at high ready. You never present at mid. You present low ready. Okay, so when I come out, automatically my finger's on the trigger. I'm at low ready.
So is this somebody at your house that you're presenting to? Someone is at your house or just out in public?
Oh, no.
I didn't even make the scenario clear.
Someone's in my house. First off, my Australian Shepherd Great Pyrenees, that's 100 pounds, is definitely going to get you.
Got you.
Good luck getting past him. But, if you were in my house, we're in the state of Texas. It's nighttime. I have legal bypass to shoot and kill, and I will. There's no question about it. If you've broken into my house, you've walked through a threshold in my household. My children are in here. My wife is in here. Okay. You have now threatened my way of living and my way of life, which the Second Amendment and the Constitution protects. At no point in time do I have a problem going and sitting in a jail cell and going, I'll talk to my lawyer. But they were in my house clearly. I have cameras. I believe you should have cameras. But cameras and dogs alone do not protect you.
Facts. Yeah, I'm looking at my camera here right now. My second oldest daughter just came home from classes, and like I said, I'm watching her walk up to the door, walk in, and you got to have surveillance. But I'm telling you, just like my man's saying, sometimes that's not even enough. What if your power's down, or your system goes out, or it's a lag in your system? There's just even a 10-second delay or lag in your system. man, that's 10 seconds that you're behind the game, that you're thinking this is what's happening, and they're already in the door.
Yep.
So you got to be prepared. I have weapons and things all over my house, from swords to knives to guns, and my family knows about it. And the youngest child that's in my home would be my son, who's 10 years old. So we have from 10 all the way up to 29, who's my daughter, and of course she's married. She lives in her own home with her husband. But everyone in my home is aware of our firearms. We don't hide them. We don't when I say hide them, we don't I mean we they're secure, but we don't make them be things that are frightening, or things that our children don't know the importance of the safety factor on them. Or if there's a scenario or a situation, can our children defend themselves with one of those firearms? I think that's important. I think that's huge and important. Not too many people consider that, because a lot of people say, hey, their kids, keep them away from guns. But I think that if you have the ability to start training your children at a younger age, I think by all means, go ahead and do so. Why not? Why not get some training started, get them used to shooting, a firearm, whether it's a 22, a 9mm, something that they can handle, of course. AR, I'm up for anything. I'm up for all of it, actually, because I've seen children from as young as 5 years old training with rifles, 9mm, all of that, doing just fine. And if this was back in the day, and we had to hunt for food, these stigmas that are in place about youths having guns, or I don't say kids should walk around owning guns. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying they should have the ability to know how to use a firearm for defense in your home, or to hunt if you're out, in a hunting situation.
Absolutely. No, you're absolutely correct. You should train your kids in
dogs. Yeah, my man says dogs. That's what he says. He was mentioning, you mentioned your dogs. That's for sure. Man, I used to always have two pit bulls, man, and I love those dogs. I love them. And when I moved into this home, unfortunately, the neighborhood they were super strict on a particular breed. So I had to part way with those are my family members, man. Those are my friends. And when I had to depart with those guys, man, it was heartbreaking. And it's been, I'll be honest with you, man. Like, it's been tough for me to say I'm going to get another dog again, even though I know the importance of it. So when I move again, which I'm going to be moving probably in another couple of years here, I definitely will move into a community that doesn't restrict what kind of animals I could have in my home. So that's
no,
facts.
absolutely. No, you're absolutely correct. And I'm sorry if my voice changes. My phone's dying. So
No, you're good. You're good.
Keep on there. No, but pit bulls are definitely one of my favorite dogs. I used to train pit bulls. We would train them to be rehabilitated. I had a pit bull who was a Louisiana Gator Nose, and he was the best dog I've ever had. They will love and protect your family forever, but
exactly.
For people out there that can't have those dogs, I have an Australian Shepherd who is also a Great Pyrenees. My dog is 98 pounds. He is just as loyal. He is just as trainable, too smart for his own good, just like a pit bull. And nobody actually restricts these dogs. So that's like actually endorse. If you can find these dogs, it's a rare breed that they intertwine, because they are sheep dogs and protection dogs. From an Australian Shepherd, it's a little smaller, but a Great Pyrenees can get up to 100, 150 pounds, and they'll fight wolves all day long. They'll fight 2 or 3 of them. I have one. He's about 93, 95 pounds, and he will protect my kids first. I know he will. I've trained him to do such. He is a service animal. And he will do what I ask him to do. So while I do love pit bulls, I personally believe everybody should have a pit bull. They're the best for kids. They'll love kids. They'll protect kids.
Exactly.
They'll put them in check. They'll put kids in check. All right. So you don't have to. So that takes the stress off you and your wife when it comes to a pit bull. Like, you're like, hey man, stop climbing that fence.
Yep. They're smart, man. That's what I'm saying. The Little Rascals had a pit bull, man. Like they get such a bad rap, man. I know they're dangerous. I know in the wrong hands they could be, dangerous. But anything in the wrong hands could be dangerous. So, hey, it's all about how you train them. Love them, provide the proper environment for them. That's all they need. But I agree, man. Like I 100%. That was my philosophy. Is that my dogs are my alarm, my security. That's my first line of defense. My dogs, they're like my second line of defense. And then if they get past that and they get to me, them some bad mother effers, boy. You know what I'm saying? They some bad mofos bring it. Let's go. Let's do this. Let's dance. If that's how it's gonna be, let's do it. So that's how I looked at it. So I feel like right now I've got one layer of my security that's out of place and out of whack, and I don't like that for multiple reasons, because that again, that's my extra alarm system. When my alarm is down, they're gonna alert when something's outside. They're gonna know it. They're not gonna need batteries. They're gonna wake up. They're gonna jump up, be alert, let you know that hey, somebody's outside. Something is walking around the perimeter, and let you know that you need to be prepared as well.
Absolutely, you're absolutely correct. And another crazy point on that is actually cats. So
I've got a cat, man. I just picked up a cat.
yeah,
Had to get the family something. They love animals, man. Just got them a cat about 3-4 months ago.
I used to be deathly allergic to cats, and I don't care what anybody says. Nowadays, they're allergic to milk, they're allergic to soy or whatever. Like, if you introduce yourself enough to something that you're allergic to, you can in fact overcome that allergy. We have 2 cats. I'm no longer allergic to them. I'm
not having any issues either, and that's what I thought in my brain. I was like, man, I can't have any cats. I'm allergic to them. They make my eyes all puffy. And man, like I say, my family was like, well, just try it out. We need an animal, and I've surprised them, man. Got him a kitten, and hey, man, like you say, I don't know what you're gonna say about the cat, but I can tell you that it's been no problems for me, man. I compromised and got him something.
Yeah, so cats definitely are defensive, but they are protective of their territory. And cats will alert you with a high pitch meow, more or less, right? They'll alert you of that if something's going on around you, whether they're in the same room as you, they're downstairs. They are a good alarm system. They're also good for small trapping. They'll take care of rats. They'll take care of cockroaches. They'll take care of whatever, right?
Yep.
So that is a good viable defense that you don't have to take care of, because essentially, say, SHTF, whatever it's called, hits the fan, right? Those things don't have to be taken care of. That cat knows it's yours. All right. The cat knows it belongs to you, and you can let it roam. It'll feed itself. It'll drink its own water. It's a survival animal, and it will literally guard your perimeter, and you can actually hear that from a bit away. So I think cats, it's weird me saying this, but this is me growing and learning, and I've changed my opinions on how cats actually act. And believe it or not, they're actually a good resource to have around you.
Facts. I agree. Like you say, they're definitely good. They're going to protect their inside for sure. They're going to get small game, rats, little rodents, little snakes, anything. They're on it. Little bugs, they're on it. They're going to play with it, bring it back to you, show you what they caught. I mean, it's funny. It's funny how they go about doing things. Their animal, their predatory instinct is there for sure. That's for sure.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this then, AGG. So you carry a 9mm as your EDC, correct? So what rounds are you carrying right now when you're out and about?
I am carrying, man, these right here, American Gunner, Hornady, hollows. I think we could show ammunition, can't we?
Yes, we can. Because it is
I was gonna say, I want to make sure they don't turn me off on live or something. But yeah, it's these ones right here.
Okay, what grain is that?
This is 100, and let me make sure I'm saying this properly. Yep, 124 grain. Just want to make sure, because I've got 2 boxes. I had one that's 114 or 100 and
115.
Yeah, 115. Excuse me. But this is my 124.
So why do you choose to carry those?
I chose these because they they seem to work. When I shoot them, they're accurate just as well as my my Full Metal jackets,
Mm,
and they were affordable and they were available. Other
mm.
other than that, I didn't choose. I didn't like compare these and say, let me take this one over this one. I mean, there was a few that I could have, of course, had a choice for, but Hornady seemed like a solid brand. I went with it. What about yourself?
No, that's fair. So right now, obviously, with my 1860, I carry 142 grain swag lead balls. Those things are malleable, so as soon as they touch, we're going to say this liquid, um, they expand completely. They pancake out. It is devastating. But as far as if I'm carrying a 9 millimeter, I'm carrying a 115 grain die cut.
Okay,
So let me see if I can get that
nice.
focus right there. That's a die cut. So that is a flower grasper. And when it grasps liquid, okay,
Liquid,
it
yeah.
grabs and it expands.
Okay.
So it's an extra protection right there. And if anybody wants to know, Midway USA has them right now on sale for about 46 cents a round. They're
Hmm.
pretty disgusting, but the guns they pick are
Mhm.
very picky. So some guns take them, some guns don't.
Okay.
And then if I'm carrying a all duty purpose, I carry a 147 grain Full Metal jacket 9 millimeter. That is a
Mhm.
Sierra ammo hollow point. Those have they are about 150 feet a second slower, but they are packing quite a bit of punch. And then obviously with my Glock 40 or Glock 30, I'm sorry, 45 ACP, I carry 185 grain silver sabers. And then for my 2 magazine backup, I actually carry polymer 118 grain polymer sidewinders. The reason for this is because my first mag is 10 rounds. Um,
Okay.
you shouldn't get through 1 or 2 rounds. You shouldn't be standing. If and when you do, polymer rounds travel at 1,350 feet a second. That is equivalent to a 10 millimeter.
Mhm.
And a polymer that is a sidewinder literally grabs as it turns. So instead of expanding like a
Mhm.
hollow point does, it
Mhm.
literally twists and grabs as it twists. So the expansion is similar to a 7.62 by 3.9.
Wow, man. So earlier you had mentioned about the green tips. So I know that some tips are just green, and then some tips are like the green polymer tips. So I think there's a difference between those. So if I mean, I don't think, I'm positive. So based upon what you're saying, that makes a lot of sense on why the green polymer tips would have more destructive capability once hit. Also, man, I've got some 115 grain nukes, man. This is by Unlimited Ammo.
Yep.
These are the guys that I've recently partnered up with. They send me out some stuff, and these are the nukes, and I've got a box of these right here, and these are nice as well. These are 115 grain. These are hollows. Let me get that in there, right? Boom.
I see that. I like it.
Yep. Yep.
Good old Tubby boy.
So yeah, so I like these as well, man. These shoot very well, but I need more of them. I need more. So hey, Justin, send me out some more, man. Need some more.
I'll take some more as well. You can go ahead and send.
Indeed. Get my man some as well. He needs some also, man.
Yeah. Um, no, I think it's no matter what you carry, I think it should be something that you are comfortable with, that you've shot a minimum of 200 rounds with, and that you know is going to be reliable in a situation. God forbid you have to get in a 3 mag shootout. Most of us don't have to worry about that.
Man,
Like I said, some days
exactly.
I literally carry a Smith and Wesson 38 Special Plus P. I carry 125 grain lead hollow points. All right. If you can get past 5 of those, you are on some kind of special stuff that I never smoked. And, you know, uh,
Indeed.
bless you for that. But I think what you carry should be your most accurate, should be your most viable, but it should be your first magazine. The stuff behind that magazine should be something that your gun feeds, and is something that is a little more devastating. If you have to get to that point, if I'm firing polymer rounds out of a Glock, I'm breaking your armor plates. I don't care what you have. So,
Indeed. Yeah, I agree, man. I agree with that as well. I regret that as well. I'm being very careful with what I show because I don't want to show my stuff here. And but yeah, man, it's very important that I agree that you know what you're shooting and that you train with it and that you know that it's going to actually feed, because a lot of people have some special bullets. I won't name any brands or name any kind, but there's some special bullets that people have, and they've got them in their firearm, and they've never shot them. They bought one box of these bullets and that's it. They've never shot them. They're just waiting for the time to come when they go train. They train with hollows, training rounds, but they don't even know if these bullets will feed properly in their gun. So I think that's highly important to, like what you said, make sure if you're gonna find some self-defense rounds, go through a few boxes of them, go through a few rounds, a couple hundred rounds at least. Just make sure that it's feeding right. Make sure that it's staying on target, because it shoots a little differently than the Full Metal Jackets. At least in from my training, they seem to shoot hollows shoot a little differently. So make sure that you are aware of that.
No, absolutely, you're absolutely correct. The 147 grain hollow points, they're obviously
he said he got 147 grain coated with that drip sauce. I didn't mean to cut you off there, but yeah, drip sauce. For y'all don't know, man, my man OG $2 makes some good barbecue sauce. Make sure you go check out his page, check him out, go get some of that good barbecue sauce. I vouch for him.
Hey, vouch for him. Hey, but I want him to bring that barbecue sauce down to Texas.
Oh man, what a good idea. What a great idea. Get some of that barbecue sauce in your restaurant. Man, great idea.
Hey, tell me right
now.
now.
Connect you brothers.
I make regular, I make sweet and spicy, I make Alabama, I make South Carolina, all in house. So I want him to bring that barbecue sauce down to Texas. We'll have a video on it and we'll see who's better, right?
Man, that'll be great. That'll be great.
Yeah,
that'll be great.
I definitely respect that. But you even had boys back in the day, speaking of 147 grain, 147 grain fires through my Taurus flawless. Through my Canic, my 12 round, it fires flawless. Through my 15 round mag, it has hiccups. So back to the point you were saying, know what you have, know when it fires, and not only that it fires through your firearm, but which magazines it fires through. Because I have 18 round mag now that until I go to the range, I don't know what the spring pressure will actually keep up with. So
that's smart. That's smart. That makes a lot of sense, man, because like you say, you throw in an extended magazine and next thing you know, it's not working the way it's supposed to work. Well, that's because it's a different spring. There's all kind of different factors that play into that. So don't get yourself caught in a situation where you've got a backup extended mag in as your backup mag, and don't be all over the place thinking stuff is going to work. Know that it's going to work because you train with it. And my brother here made a good point. He says you should, train with your ammo every few months. Shoot your carry ammo every few months at least.
Yeah.
And OG $2 said he just sent some to Houston this morning. Just sent some of that barbecue sauce out to Houston this morning.
Hey, I respect that. But no, you actually should. Me personally, before I carry a gun, I put a minimum of 100 rounds through it. If it's a reputable brand. If it's not a reputable brand like SCCY, I've got a guy who carries an SCCY 9mm. He trusts it with his life. He's fired thousands of rounds through it. But if I were to purchase one, I would not carry it until I hit that 500 round mark. Now, someone like a track record of a Canic or a Glock or even a Smith & Wesson, I'm going to fire 100 rounds of my carry ammo through it, and I know I'm good. But that's all in your budget. We all don't have the same budget. We all have a different style. We all have a different money situation. And, I've come across some great deals on ammo, and, I'm blessed and fortunate, but I have different carry ammo, and what you're going to carry really boils down to what you fired most through it. So like, I'm not going to knock anybody that you know, it's a couple with 2 kids and working minimum wage, and they've had a past, right? And all they can afford is a High Point. You know, I'm one of those people that I'm never going to knock you for carrying a High Point. If all you had is $145 and another $50 for ammo, I'm never going to knock you for it. But make sure, even if you have to run FMJs through it, and that's your defensive ammo, you make sure it cycles. All right, you
Exactly.
through at least one magazine of no flaws. If it
Indeed.
doesn't work, you need to switch to a different ammo. All right, we're not those people that's, you know, oh, you better have a Daniel Defense and you better spend $3,000 on your rifle. No, no.
No, not at all.
I came from the streets. I came from the struggle. I came from being homeless. If all you can afford is a High Point, the fact that you have chosen to protect your family makes you a man, first and foremost.
Facts.
And if all you can run through is 115 grain FMJs, brother, you better have 100 rounds of 115 grain FMJs and make sure that it always feeds through it each and every time.
Indeed, indeed. Man, I had a question on the tip of my tongue. It just slipped my mind. It'll come back to me in just a quick second here. I was looking at the comments here, but the question will come back to me in just a quick second. It was about something that you had just said here. It'll come back to me. The loudest noise in the gunfight is click.
Yep.
What was that question? Hey, it'll come back to me. I'll run something else. But hey, in regards to your EDC and your ammunition that you're carrying, what about your I know what it was. It came back to me. Glad I start talking. Safeties. Do you believe that a safety is necessary on your EDC, or having one in the chamber if your gun doesn't have like an outer safety, so to speak? Do you carry with one in the chamber?
So an outer safety to me is somebody who is new to firearms. An outer safety is actually irrelevant because a Glock has 3 safeties on it. Just because you don't see a little switch that you can click up and down doesn't mean the gun is completely safe. For example, my Glock 30, like every other Glock, whether it's a 45, a 9 mil, a 10 mil, a 22, it has a trigger safety, which means the trigger has to be impressed on the initial trigger for it to pull. Okay. That is why it has a mushy trigger. Most people hate that. I don't. Okay. It also has a drop safety, which enables the firing pin to be pressed if and when you drop the firearm. They've had several videos out there. You can look them up on YouTube. They've gone a helicopter and dropped it from 200 feet down with one in the chamber. It doesn't fire. Okay. And then you have your firing pin block safety, which literally blocks the firing pin from ever being fired. All right. So you have 3 safeties inside of a Glock. It's actually more safe than most of these guns that have that little switch safety.
Shout out to my man T Electric, just joined us. Salute. Gun Freak Nation, salute, man. I'm always watching that, brother. He was one of my inspirations on even starting a channel. So glad to see you in here, brother. Good to see you. Free to jump on stage with us if you like to join the conversation.
Absolutely. Salute you guys. Absolutely, of course. But for me, like even when I'm carrying my black powders, so they're single action. So I legitimately can. And again, for YouTube, this is not a firearm under the federal law or the Texas law, which is where I live. So this right here is completely loaded. Okay, watch. All right, I'm just going to pull the trigger. Oh my gosh, it's not firing. Wait, hold on. Why is it not firing? This is a single action gun. It is on a safety notch in between 2 cylinders, which means no cylinder is in the barrel, which means this gun cannot fire. Okay, and then you're going to have the guys that are like, what about chain firing? I have aux choke in every single barrel. Okay. No gun is ever going to chain fire that is in my possession. I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this for a long time. I have no problem carrying this gun appendix or a Glock appendix, straight in my junk. It's never going to go off until I initially grab the trigger and intentionally pull the trigger, whether it's with the 1860, I pull the hammer back, or a Glock where I pull the safety of the trigger and squeeze the trigger past the sludge to the brake, is it going to fire? If you are carrying a gun without one in the chamber, you are doing no service to anybody. That is my personal opinion. I stand by it, and I will never sway from it.
I saw a video just the other day where a gentleman was practicing. He was trying to see if there's a difference in the time. Now, listen, there wasn't a huge big difference in the time. It was like a second and something for his draw, as far as him pulling and then cocking back. But I'm telling you, that's not when you're in the heat of a battle. What if you only got one hand free? What if you're struggling with somebody and all you can do is reach in with one hand and do what you got to do? I'll cock it on my belt. Whatever. Get out of here. Listen, you want to be able to pull and take action with that firearm as quickly as possible. Because like you mentioned earlier, by the time you are drawing, you're shooting already. By the time you shot 3 shots already. So you better have that gun. You better have one ready to rock and roll. I agree with you.
Absolutely. But that comes with, comfortability, if you will. I'll say that there are people that have been introduced to firearms, or they have been, we'll say the D word, Democrats, and have realized what's going on around them, and they've decided to pick up a firearm. It should come with a note that I have taught classes for adults and for children and told them, squeeze the trigger. Oh, nothing comes out. Well, what are you going to do? Okay, I'll put a blank in the chamber. Okay, what are you going to do? How do you clear it? How do you clear a malfunction? See, these are all the things that you need to think about if and when something comes up. Again, like you said, excuse me, at the very beginning of our conversation, if you don't know how to operate a firearm, that means clear it, rack it, drop the mag, remag it, set it, and fire it. You should not be owning a semi-automatic firearm. Agreed. There should be a revolver in your life. With that revolver in your life, and know that revolver is going to go off every single time. I'm a big component of revolvers. I love them. I carry one every single day along with whatever I'm carrying for that day, because I know if and when something does happen and that thing jams and I can't rack and clear, I can't drop mag, rack, clear, reset, I know that I can go to my revolver and I can literally belly punch and squeeze. It's going to go off every time. People think that revolvers are outdated. They are absolutely not outdated. You have
we talked about that. I got to get one. I don't have one.
You do. And as a matter of fact, the Tauruses right now, their 38 specials, I believe, are on sale for like $360. They're a phenomenal deal. Those things will take a punching all day long. But even if you want to spend a little more money on the Smith & Wessons, or even, my dream revolver is a Chiappa Rhino 357 Magnum. Those things are like $1,200. But, that revolver I would carry every day over a Glock, believe it or not. With a speed loader on it, you got 12 rounds of 357 punching you in the face like no one's getting out of that. But a revolver is definitely something that you should keep in mind for carrying, especially if you have arthritis hands, or you're not as quick on a draw, or you're in close combat, because it's not hard to take a Glock out of chamber. You can, someone puts a hand right on the top,
when that muzzle,
less than half, you're not pulling the trigger.
Thanks.
But if I've got a revolver squeezed in your stomach, no matter how you grab it, I'm firing.
Yep.
So I personally believe that everybody should have a revolver in their arsenal at all times. So
there was a comment here, and I don't know anything about black powder, so I'll let you address that one. It says, hold on here. It says you should test it on gel. Black powder 44 is weak. I don't know what that means necessarily.
So what I'm assuming he's referring to is black powder doesn't penetrate as far. But like I said, they make 255 grain swagged lead projectiles, which is the equivalent of a 45 Colt. Okay. Not a 45 ACP. So these guns out of a 3-inch barrel, like the one I have here, are traveling about 800 to 850 feet a second. Okay, but it is swagged lead. So
Okay.
second it touches liquid, okay, and again, I will say that with emphasis, liquid, it explodes. I had a matter of fact, a subscriber of mine who is a doctor in New York City said the most devastating damage he has ever had come into his ER from a firearm is from a black powder revolver. These firearms are more devastating than most modern day carries. I'm not going to put it up against a 45. I'm not going to put it up against a 44 Magnum. But it is comparable to a 9mm, and it is way more devastating. The sheer force of a entry wound is way greater than most modern day carry guns. So there's actually guys on YouTube that have done those tests and shown just how wide that expansion is. I have yet to have a person on my YouTube channel willing to be a participant in standing in one of the. So,
Indeed, yeah. No test subjects raise their hand, right? No willing participants. Man, that's some good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, this gentleman says here, he says, I carry a little public defender with the PDX-1 as a backup. So yeah, like I say, yep, public defender.
You mean like a Derringer?
Public defender with a PDX-X1 as a backup.
I'm not sure what that is. I'm not even gonna lie.
I'm not familiar with the public defender as well. I thought it was a revolver thing, and since I ain't a revolver guy, I figured, hey, the revolver guys out there know what he's talking about.
I mean, defenders are similar to the judges, I believe. I'm not mistaken. That's a 410 shotgun shell and a 357 Magnum and a 38 Special.
The same dream gun. Okay.
That's why I never purchased a Judge. A 410 shotgun shell, slug coming out of a handgun is devastating, but a 45 long Colt is, you can survive that as much as you can survive a 22, more or less. So,
yeah, man. So that's it, man. Like I don't have a whole lot more I want to talk about tonight. Want to save some topics for our next show, but brother, is there anything that you want to talk about or any other things you want to get off your chest before we jump off of here tonight?
I mean, if Chad has something, by all means, I'll be more than happy to give my 2 cents or my opinions on. I personally believe, like I said before, everybody who is an American citizen has the right to defend themselves. I believe anybody who is a felon or prohibited should carry a firearm, regardless. If you're a criminal, you are going to obtain a gun anyway. You're going to continue being a criminal. No gun law has ever stopped any crime with a gun ever. That is a fact. That is 100% accurate. People will do evil things regardless. And as somebody who has changed their life around, as you have, and towards to lead a better life, the great French philosopher from the 1700s has said it best. Any gun law that prohibits somebody from carrying a gun is only somebody who never has the intentions of using it for harm. So,
great quote. Boom. And with that being said, guys, brother, man, make sure all of our listeners, make sure you guys head on over to my man's channel, Drezo Nation. Subscribe. Look at him in the comments. He's right there in our comments. So when you go back to the comments, that's how you find his channel. Super easy. No excuses, guys. This is how we do this stuff because we love it. But we're able to do this at a higher level the more that support that we get. So, guys, the more that you're able to chime in, support us, give us thumbs up. You might think it doesn't make a big difference, but every thumbs up, every like, every share, it helps us out. It helps the algorithm know that, hey, these guys are worth listening to. This gentleman's worth listening to. This lady's worth listening to. Whoever you support, like their stuff, share it. It doesn't hurt you. It doesn't take anything from you at all to do it.
Absolutely. No, I completely agree with you. And, we're doing some stuff. And on Friday, we're going to do some, matter of fact, you brought it up. We're going to do some shotgun clearing in a CQB with a long shotgun. We don't have sawed-offs. We're not FFLs, but I will show you a shotgun clearing. My buddy Brad's going to come on.
Okay.
care of that for us, and I'm sure you guys really love that. But yeah, AG, it is always an absolute pleasure to talk to you. I really cherish these times. So
yeah, brother, it's gonna be every Tuesday. Like I say, last week my back was just too bad, man, and I took some painkillers and I was out, man. But every Tuesday we're moving forward at 9 o'clock. I know it's some other shows that go on at the same time as us. No disrespect to those shows. Unfortunately, I got to pick some time to go, to be consistent with, and this is the time that works for me. I'm a man here, so anyone's always free to join in on the conversation. Would love to have you guys up here with us on stage. And my man T Electric wanted to give us one more shout out. Says, great show tonight, guys. Definitely got to get you on my podcast one day. Man, we would love to be on there. I would love to be on there. I know a man would love to be on there. Shout out to my man Gay for Guns. And I'm sure that means happy for guns. And my man OG $2. Let's see. Too many choices checked in. Let's see. Who else I got to shout out? White Side Tactical. Desert Tactical. Excuse me. Yeah, we had a lot of folks check in, so I appreciate everyone checking in, and doing their thing as far as helping the show be a show. So this is why we do this, guys. We're gonna keep doing it again every week. Show's gonna get better and better. We're gonna have more and more topics. But man, stay safe, stay training, and stay free.